Welcome to Storytime with Writers Playground. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Merrick Humbert.
And I am Mariana Davila.
We're happy to be here today. We have a terrific story to share with you. And since our last episode, we've pretty much just been working hard on our current competition, reading your submissions and writing feedback, and we've been enjoying that.
We have read some great work so far, and we've also had a sick toddler this past week, so that has been a pain.
Yeah, he got the foot-hand-mouth disease, poor guy.
Again.
Yep.
He was pretty miserable for a few days, but he's feeling better now.
Running around, causing havoc again.
Yeah. Also, the House of the Dragon season finale was this past week, so that was fun.
Yeah, it was a great finale, I thought. I'm looking forward to the next season. I want to see how this plays out, but we're going to have to wait another 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know why it takes so long.
I know. The original Game of Thrones had only 1 year in between seasons, and I thought it was much better. I feel like everything's taking longer these days for who knows why.
Yeah, I don't know. But shall we get into our story for today?
Sounds good.
All right. Today we will be reading A Mother's Vigil by Zelda Thorne, which came in second place out of 606 entries in our 7 Playground Challenge. And it is a fantastic story about a sleep-deprived woman who goes to pick up her daughter from the train station after a prolonged absence.
And Zelda Thorne is a talented writer from Norwich in the UK. She has been published by Northern Gravy, Off Topic, and Jake. And she was also shortlisted for the Olga Sinclair Prize. Her speculative fiction piece, Star Status, was featured on the USA science fiction podcast, Tall Tale TV, and it is the title of her debut short story collection. She is currently working on a near-future social satire novel, which definitely sounds interesting. And you can find her collection of short stories, again called Star Status, on Amazon or on Zelda's website, zeldacthorne.com. So make sure to check that out. Rekindle your childhood imagination with magic, monsters, romance, and adventure. You'll never know what's coming next, be it psychic dodos, jealous laptops, or mysterious boxes. But you can be sure that if you keep turning those pages, you'll discover hope in the most unlikely of places. And again, that's called Star Status, and it's some wonderful fiction.
That's right. And all of this information will be in the description wherever you're listening to this. But for now, here is A Mother's Vigil. Enjoy! A Mother's Vigil by Zelda Thorne. Disjointed and removed, my daughter's voice echoes in my mind as I approach Little Walham train station. Such is the nature of 3 a.m. telephone calls. I'm safe, Mom. Long flight. Train tomorrow. I love you. My handwritten note of Anna's garbled message is semi-illegible, so it's possible I'm too early. The Victorian clock suspended above the platform states 11:03. But no matter. I hunch my shoulders against an icy wind, sidestepping the mottled, bruised brown leaves and empty crisp packets on my way to the cafe. The tie note crackles, announcing that the next train will not stop here. The cafe dominates the inside of the station building with fake potted ferns, marking the boundary between wooden passenger benches and the cafe's superior customer seating. Discarded paper takeaway cups fill the see-through plastic beanbags, whilst small crumb-strewn plates litter the tables, evidence of the London commuter rush.
Christine, how are you?
Graham, a fixture far older than the Costa coffee sign behind the counter, stops clearing the tables, the corners of his mouth disappearing behind a gigantic snow-white handlebar mustache. Good, thank you. I order a cappuccino and a croissant, watching him for signs of discomfort, but his expression remains content. He doesn't know. Just waiting for my daughter. I may be here a while.
Ah, your little firecracker.
He turns his back to me, preparing my order.
Where's she been this time?
I open my mouth and close it again, shifting my weight as an insidious crawling sensation floods my arms and legs. I scratch the back of my neck and flex my fingers. Graham looks over his shoulder, wondering if I've hurt him. The feeling ebbs just below the surface. I flash a smile. Just traveling. For days, how many I can say, I endured the sympathetic sidelong glances and hushed conversations at work before my boss sent me home on enforced sick leave. Clients withering on as I applied foils to their faded hair and snip split ends, transforming them into someone else or someone closer to who they imagined themselves to be. It was a busy Saturday when I found out. My client, a semi-permanent color, cut and blow dry, was under the heater, flicking through Good Housekeeping, and I was scrolling my fake Instagram for clues. The account filled with stock photos of a male model whom my daughter and all her travel buddies had accepted as a friend. I inspected a shot of Anna in a string bikini on a pristine white beach, crossing my fingers that she had applied sufficient sunscreen when a breaking news alert popped up. Magnitude 7.1. Earthquake strikes Indonesia. Heart hammering, I clicked through and forced myself to read. Indonesia's Geophysics Agency, BMKG, reported that the quake, at a depth of 78 kilometers, struck at approximately 10 a.m. local time, 2 a.m. GMT, triggering a devastating tsunami. In Padang, the capital of West Sumatra, people were instructed to evacuate to higher ground. I glozed over the staggering numbers of fatalities and injured and missing persons, unable to process the figures. Videos poured in. Juddering clips revealed the horror as enormous black-green waves obliterated matchstick buildings, flung toy boats in the air, and swept aside ant-like people. I realized I wasn't breathing. My sweaty palm pressed against my chest, fingernails clawing up my cheek over my face. To the hair, grip a handful, tighter, harder. I gasped, dragging the air in.
Indonesia is a big place.
Jonathan, my strange husband, said when I called. We separated 2 years ago, but neither of us has asked for a divorce.
She said she was going to Bali, which wasn't hit. I left her a message just now. She always gets back to me within a day or so. You know, I bet she's at some party, having the time of her life.
My fist trembled at my side, nails drawing blood. How could he be so positive, so hopeful? It was beyond me. So many people.
God, you always do this.
He sighed, and I knew he would be dragging one hand over his face, rubbing the eyes.
This earthquake, it's awful, horrendous. But Anna wasn't there.
You don't know that?
Yes, I do. And even if she was, she's a survivor.
My throat swelled shut. He didn't understand how insignificant we are, how deluded to think special providence would befall our child. They'll never find her body, a thought I hate myself for having but cannot undo. That night, I found myself ensnared in a vicious nightmare, agonizing over what music to play at Anna's funeral. Should it be Dancing Queen by ABBA, something she liked as a child, or Enter Sandman by Metallica, by far the most obsessively played song of her teens? In the end, I used both and everyone agreed it summed her up perfectly. The following night, I didn't bother trying to sleep. I'm outside now, on the platform. The sun is a glowing disk in an overcast sky. A middle-aged man, clean-shaven with an impeccable number 2 buzz cut, is poised at the entrance to the car park with a bunch of plastic-wrapped chrysanthemums in his hand. His gaze unfathomable yet tender all at once. I believe he would stand there for hours. Jonathan did that for me, whenever he returned at the end or midway through a tour. Unawares, I would descend the train after a long day at work, turn my head, and spy his gorgeous, thick, shoulder-length mane. Cheeks flush, my brain would short-circuit, crescendoing as I flew towards him. Now, his favorite socks, multicolored and adorned with treble clefs, quavers, and piano keys, are still in his top drawer. Some match up in balls, others loose and alone. I once read that if someone leaves something at your house, it's because subconsciously they intend to come back. But by now, chances are Jonathan has bought himself some new socks. Next to the disabled toilets, there is a door marked Private, and inside is the station guard's back office. When Anna was 16, the British Transport Police summoned me to collect her from their room at 9 o'clock at night when I thought she was having a makeover at a friend's house. Trespassing on the light rails, the officer informed me in the tone of a judge passing sentence. A suicidal game of dare. We've had trouble at this station before, but they always get away. He gestured at Anna's swollen ankle, propped up in a cushion. The guard didn't recognize her as one of the usual suspects, which is why I'm not booking her. This time. That's very kind of you, I glared at Anna. Isn't it? Say thank you too. Whatever. Can we go now? I'll never forget the feral look of her. That black eye stare like a hardened criminal. The whiff of cigarettes and grime that clung to her figure. And it was my fault. Jonathan's extended absences with the orchestra meant she was left with me, the neurotic, overbearing control freak. Her words, not mine. So what if I have a cleaning rota on the fridge and alphabetize the spice rack? Or that I made her memorize my mobile phone number from the age of 7, testing her now and again just to be sure? We did that with her times tables, didn't we? She huffed and rolled her eyes skywards, making me want to lunge, tip her upside down, and shake her until my real daughter fell out. The one who snuggled into my side 3 weeks beforehand to watch Bridget Jones' Diary, so fresh, head to toe in pink unicorn pajamas. Anna, what the hell were you thinking? It's not. You could have been killed. My voice broke, spiking too high like a snapped piano wire. The cords of my neck strained against the skin. Anna's chin quivered and the granite exterior crumbled to dust. I'm sorry, Mom, she said. Can we go home, please? I stand on the bridge overlooking the railway lines, facing east. The brick wall is so high I have to lift my arms to shoulder height to lean on them. A train stops at this station every 45 minutes, but so far, no Anna. My phone vibrates in my pocket, and I fish it out. Jonathan.
Where are you?
At the train station, obviously.
How long have you been there? Do you want me to pick you up?
No. I start pacing along the bridge. Why would I want that?
I think you should go home.
A train slithers into view, and I wait until it has passed underneath and the blustery screech of rails has subsided before speaking again. Anna, our daughter, is alive and on her way. I called you this morning. Don't you remember?
Yeah, you said she was arriving at 5 in the afternoon, but it's midday and you're already there. Why?
I bring my free hand up and run a fingertip along the curve of my eyebrow. Just in case, the message was...
Hazy?
I grit my teeth and wonder what it might feel like to hurl my phone onto the tracks. I didn't dream it, Jonathan. It happened. She called.
She did not call you.
I freeze. A muscle in my neck spasms. Jonathan does not shout. Ever. Not even when we were separating. It's not in him. I know it's been a long time, but...
6 weeks, 3 days, and this makes it 5 times that you've claimed she's contacted you, only to discover later on that you've no record on your phone of any such calls.
He exhales.
I don't think you understand what that does to me.
This time it's different. He's right. The memory is hazy, but not like a dream. It's nebulous in the way life is when you don't sleep. Days slide into each other, creating an indistinct continuum. Shadows flutter and sound muffles as if underwater. Ironic how if you remove sleep, reality takes on a dreamlike quality.
If she really was still out there,
he says, and I can tell by the timbre of his voice how hard he's trying not to break apart.
We would know by now.
Tears string my eyes. You've lost hope? He doesn't answer. Another train rumbles past, and another. Eventually, one of us hangs up. Mom, I'm 18, I'm going to Indonesia, and you can't stop me. She dropped this bomb one Saturday as we stepped off the train after a day out in Colchester. I struggled to keep up with her as she mounted the overpass stairs, myriad shopping bags banging against her legs. I know that. At first, I blamed Jonathan for Anna's tenacity, for her bulldozer attitude to life. Whenever she did something reckless, such as the makeshift dirt bike long jump which I had to hear about from the school headmistress, I would lock myself in the spare room, fingertips tracing concentric circles on my temples as my interstitial chest muscles gradually relax. And then I blamed myself, because hadn't I found that trait enticing? What are you going to do? Chippy butted on the bridge, standing firm. Tie me up? Burn my passport? Petition the government to raise the age of majority? I wished for the days when I could scoop her up with one arm and march off, impervious to those little rubbery legs thrashing at my side. What if I had attempted it? Would I have been strong enough? Perhaps we would have collapsed into fits of giggles. However, looking at her pinched expression, I doubted she would have seen the funny side. Please, Anna, I only want to protect you. I'm your mom. I smiled imploringly. It's my job. Anna gazed back with an almost imperceptible lift of her chin and broke my heart. Not anymore. Don't worry, I sighed. The powerlessness was maddening. I just want you to be safe. Other disembarked passengers flowed past us like water around two rocks in a stream. Then Anna's smile and the self-possessed woman she had become shone through. Don't worry, she said, clearing the space between us in two strides and squeezing my shoulders in an iron-like one-armed bear hug. The shopping bags bounced and rustled. I'll be fine. I walked to the exact spot on the overpass where this occurred, not so long ago, and closed my eyes, remembering how it felt as I sank into my daughter's embrace and breathed in her vanilla-sweet scent, the swish of her buttery hair against my skin. I had ignored the twist in my gut and the invisible spiders creeping up my esophagus and say, I know you will. Back in the cafe, in my corner seat, I warm my fingers on a new cappuccino. It's almost 5 o'clock. In less than 30 minutes, I'll have Anna back. Opposite the counter, the muted TV fixed in the center of the wall plays clips of the earthquake. Jonathan calls again, and I answer.
Christine, listen to me. Why would she ask you to meet her at the train station? Why not the airport?
I tap my fingernails against the ceramic cup. I told you, it was a very quick call.
Have you checked your phone records? Caller ID?
Unknown number.
And she called in the middle of the night.
Well, it was probably daytime there.
And where was that?
She didn't say. It was...
Quick, right?
Moments flash in my mind's eye. Jonathan cradling a newborn Anna, their gazes locked and wrapped in each other's essence. Lullaby song in his rich baritone vibrating through the house. Anna taking her first steps, arms outstretched, squealing, Daddy! Daddy! You have to believe me. I wrote it down.
I'm sure you did.
Jonathan, please.
When was the last time you actually slept? Because I can tell it's bad.
I flinch. Coffee splashes the table. I soak it up with a napkin. What are you talking about?
You're slurring, missing out words, repeating yourself and losing your thread. Have you been hallucinating again?
No.
Do you want me to come get you?
I drain the remnants of my coffee before it gets too cold. No, I'll be fine.
Okay, well, if you change your mind, I'm here. Just a phone call away.
Thanks, but I won't. Recalling the euphoric sparkle of his eyes when Anna picked up his ukulele of her own accord and plucked at the strings, I try one more time. She's coming, Jonathan. I'm not imagining it. This time is real. His voice is a minor note, holding on as at the end of a song.
Look after yourself, Christine.
I return my phone to my pocket and pull out Anna's message, smoothing it on the table in front of me. It's on a line page from the notebook I keep on the kitchen counter. I've written, train from Stansted Airport tomorrow, 17:17. Hastily scrolled, the sevens could also be ones. Jonathan has a point. Why didn't I ask any questions? Why here and not the airport? I would have gone, and how is she paying for the train fare if she has no money for a phone call? How is she paying for the flight? As I read my handwriting for the millionth time, the ink blurs, darkens, becomes liquid once more, and runs, streaking towards me, dribbling off the edge of the table into my lap. My hands are stained blue-black.
You all right, Christine?
I'm holding my palms right in front of my face. They're shaking. I lower them. Oh, yes, just a bit out of sorts. Thank you, Graham. I'm standing sentry at the platform exit where no one can pass without me seeing them. But my back is to the car park, so when Jonathan materializes at my side, I jump and let out a tiny scream.
Christine?
He's come to take me home. I accept his hand on the small of my back, but resist the gentle pressure. The 1717 train is due in 3 minutes. I'm not going anywhere.
Christine.
Stop saying my name like that. I turn sliding to his body and place my palm on his chest. Just wait. The train comes into view, snake sleek, sunlight gleaming on its metallic hide. A rustle of leaves as those waiting to board edge forward. Paperback snap shut, phones slip into pockets, the cafe door swing open. Hissing, the train glides to a halt. 4 seconds pass before the doors open. The circular buttons lighting up, eager fingers already upon them. More people disembark than I expected. I scan the bobbing heads for Anna's long, wavy chestnut hair. In all likelihood, she has lost every possession, and yet I can't help searching for the torn, rock cheek leather jacket, her favorite Papa Roach t-shirt, and the stilettoed white boots festooned with chains that clink as she struts. No one fits her description. A swath of sensible shoes and waterproof mags surge towards me and funnel right, into the car park, into the encroaching night. We spot her at exactly the same time. The once dark hair now swings in perfect sun-bleached braids, the pixie face, the chocolate brown eyes which catch us and draw us in like magnetic fields of vision. She speeds up, darting around commuters, and we run, headlong. The seas part before us, and there is our little girl, a woman, a survivor. Oh, Anna! A whistle blows, pistons sound, and the train eases away from the station. As I bury my face in her neck and breathe deep, Jonathan's arms overlap mine, forming an interwoven safety net.
I'm so sorry,
he whispers. I open my eyes and find I'm staring straight into his.
That was A Mother's Vigil by Zelda C. Thorne. What a great piece.
I loved it.
I actually have some fun, trivia about this piece. So, after we made our selections for the winning stories, we sent out our feedback, and we got an email back from Zelda, which was basically questioning if we missed the ending of her story. If it got cut off or something, she was a little concerned, because what had happened was we had interpreted the ending differently than she had intended it to be.
Yeah, she told us that she intended it to be a wholesome, happy ending, with Anna actually arriving at the end on the train. But when Merrick and I read it, we both interpreted it in the same way.
Yeah.
We both came to the understanding that Christine was just imagining Anna coming back. But then Jonathan apologizes, and when she opens her eyes, she just sees him, which we thought indicated that Anna wasn't really there.
Exactly. And from the beginning of the story, Zelda sets up Christine as an unreliable narrator. When we read that she hasn't been sleeping, she has a hazy memory about talking to Anna on the phone. Jonathan mentions that she had actually been hallucinating at points. She had told him that she had received other calls, but there were no record of those calls. So all those things added to that sort of unreliability of the narrator, leading us to believe in the end that Anna never showed up, that it was just in Christine's mind.
And we really love that as the ending. It is heartbreaking and the writing is beautiful. It gets your hopes up for a moment, but then when she opens her eyes and sees it's just Jonathan, it's devastating.
And through these characters, Zelda also raises questions throughout the story, which sow doubt in regards to plausibility, such as she questions why she wouldn't have her pick her up at the airport as opposed to the train station, and if she can afford a plane ticket and whatnot, why couldn't she afford a call? So these sorts of questions and doubts also added to our ultimate interpretation that she didn't actually come home. And like Mariana said, we thought that was a brilliant ending.
And when we told Zelda this in our feedback, she was understandably confused. She thought we might have missed the last page of her story or something, because she thought Anna did come home. But then we explained our interpretation, and she said that hadn't occurred to her. But once we pointed it out, she totally got it, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about how once your story is out there, you really have no control of how your readers will interpret it and how it will impact them. I think it is David Foster Wallace that had a really interesting quote in which he says something along the lines of, he wrote this book and a lot of the feedback and commentary about it was saying how funny it was. But when he was writing it, he felt like he was writing a really sad book So he was surprised when so many people were saying how funny it was.
A professor of mine once told me that as a writer, once you publish something and put it out in the world, it no longer belongs to you, and you can't dictate how it is received. And I always loved that and thought it was an important thing to remember.
We actually asked Zelda if she minded if we shared this exchange we had, and she said that she would love it. She told us that she often uses this story as a perfect example of how reader interpretation can't be controlled, and that if writer friends are stressing about what readers are going to think, she sometimes uses this story as an example of how you can't know what someone else is going to think or feel, that you should just focus on writing the best story that you can. Some readers will love it, some won't, and that's fine. And I think that's a beautiful piece of wisdom for all of us up-and-coming writers. It's definitely interesting to consider.
For sure. But to get back to this story, I thought Zelda did such a great job structuring the narrative. She introduces the conflict early on, that her daughter was vacationing close to where this devastating earthquake occurred, and that they haven't been able to contact her since. And she really captures the fear and worry that has consumed her. And she hasn't lost hope, but she's not sleeping and not in the greatest mental state. It is very well accomplished.
Definitely. And she does such a wonderful job with character development as well. I love the part when she considers what music for her funeral, which is such a dark thought, but it's so real, and it tells us about the character, what she liked when she was young, and then what she listened to when she got a little bit older, showing how she matured and grew.
We get the memory from when the policeman at the station got her from being on the tracks.
Yeah, we get these specific details that show how she began to rebel a little, and then how she was seeking independence with this trip.
And all along the way, we see how Christine wanted to protect her and how she would worry.
It's a great portrayal of how parents worry about their kids, I think. And I love the interactions with Jonathan as well, and how there are some tense exchanges of dialogue which are dramatic and also feel authentic.
I love the detail about how he left his socks in the drawer at her house, and how she thought that might be a sign that he would come back, but how she figures he probably got new socks. That is a sad but lovely passage.
Yeah, it seems clear that there's still love and a lot of caring between this couple. It just didn't work out between them for whatever reason. But like I said, all this feels very authentic, and there are so many great specific details that really make for an interesting and complex characters.
It was beautifully written all around.
Yes. So if you enjoyed this piece, make sure to go get Zelda's collection of short stories, Star Status, and you'll definitely find some great work in there. And check out her website, zeldacthorne.com.
For the prompts for this story, Zelda chose an insomniac for the character, a train station for the setting, and the one thing that everyone had to include in this challenge was an earthquake.
Reading this again, it also made me think about the earthquake that just happened in Colombia.
Oh man, yeah, that is really sad.
Yeah, I think 200 people died last I saw, and I just think every one of those people has a family, and they all have a story, just like the characters in this piece. So often we see these headlines, and it's just a number, and life goes on. And I mean, of course it does. What else are you supposed to do? Life always goes on. But that's just a hard thing to reconcile with especially when you're the one going through grief after losing someone you love. When it's not you and it's just in the news, we could become a little hardened to it. And I mean, that is what it is. What do you expect? But I don't know what I'm saying. It's something I like to remind myself and think about. All those people have stories.
I think it's a good thing to remind yourself.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right. We will keep working hard on your submissions, and we will probably be sending out our first status update before we release our next episode. So keep your eyes out for that.
And thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Storytime with Writer's Playground. We will be back for another episode in 2 weeks.
Thanks so much, everyone.
See ya.
Bye-bye.